So welcome to my new video, Understanding versus Experiencing. Now there are two ways of learning some things in life. The first one is the linear way of learning. First you understand and then you apply. The typical school college way of learning, we first learn small letters A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, then we learn small words, large sentences, addition, subtraction, and then we learn to apply. However, there is another way, a non-linear way of learning. First you apply and then learn. So this video we are going to explore the power of both the types of learnings, right? So let us test our memory. I'm going to test your memory. If I ask you to recite something from what you learnt in your 8th standard, let's say a poem, what would your answer be? Most of us would say no. Some of you probably would be able to do that, but most of us would say no. But the same question, if I ask you to recite a poem which you learned in KG, the answer would be a big yes. I can see the smile on your face. Yes. Now what's the difference? Why can't you recall a thing that you learnt in your KG, whereas the recall for whatever you learnt in 8th standard is not that powerful? Why? Because the way it was taught to you. Remember the way you were taught, I am a little teapot. You went to school, there was this big rendering, this photo of this teapot. A teacher made you stand like a teapot. This is my handle, this is my spout, pick me up and pour me out. I get you're getting. And if the teacher was too good, he would have given you or she would have given you a taste of tea. What am I trying to say is that when you were in KG, all the 5 senses, you were taught through all your 5 senses. And what you learn through your 5 senses typically goes and resides into your cellular memory. And what goes into your cellular memory stays with you for life. And that's why the recall for what you learnt in your KG is so powerful. For adult, it is a different process. Now let's look at the 4 stages for an adult. There is a process that an adult grows. For any competency or any skill that he has to learn, there are 4 stages. First stage is unconscious incompetence. That means he is not even aware that he is incompetent in that. Then it becomes when he comes to awareness that he is incompetent in some things, then comes to the conscious competency, and finally the competency goes into the unconscious part. These are the 4 stages. Now let us take this as an example. Let's take the example of cycling. You know, at one point of time in your life, you did not have a concept called cycle in your head. Go back to your school days, you did not know what a cycle was. So this incompetency, the not knowing how to ride a cycle was unconscious for you, right? So you went to school happily gallivanting. Every day you went to school. One fine day, one of your best friends came on a cycle to you. Now, the moment you saw that you had a conversation, you became conscious about your incompetency. That, oh, I don't know how to ride a cycle. See, my friend knows how to ride a cycle. It became conscious for you. The moment you become conscious of your incompetency, it creates a drive. The whole day in your school, you were bawling. You were thinking about, no, I want to learn how to drive. I want to learn how to drive. So at the end of school, when your father, mother came to pick you up, you were bawling, I want a cycle, I want a cycle. Finally, it so happened that you purchased a cycle. And you brought that whole package home and you bought that back. And inside of that package, when you unboxed, there was a sheet of A4 side of paper where there was 10 sets of instruction. The title of that paper was How to Ride a Cycle. 10 simple sets of instructions. Now, if I give you 24 hours, I tell you that after 24 hours, I am going to test you on these 10 sets of instructions. Would you score 10 out of 10? I bet you would. 24 hours, so you are a master of it. You said, I am a master of it. I will 100% score. I will know how to put it. So you mastered it in 24 hours. You memorize it from top to bottom, bottom to top. You tell me which is the 3rd, which is the 7th. All the times you are on dot. No doubt that you can score 10 out of 10. But that leaves with me with a golden question. Remember, the page is saying how to ride a cycle. The question still remains. Now you have understood how to ride a cycle with these 10 sets of instructions. You have understood how to ride a cycle. But the question is, can you still ride a cycle? No. So what you did, you sat on the cycle. and there were people, either your elder brother, your mother, your father, they were holding you from behind, you're pedaling. Sometimes you fell, some bruises here, some cut here, maybe you lost your teeth because of that, some blood here and there. And remember, go back to that day when you were fervorously pedaling, and you were not aware that the person who was holding the cycle from behind had left you. You went on pedaling like crazy, and suddenly you looked back and saw there was nobody, and you're pedaling. And that joyous moment, you learned something about what to cycle. It was in a single fraction of a second that you learned. I can vividly remember the place where I have got this realization, I know how to cycle. There is one thing that you learned about cycling. What do you think it is? You learned how to balance. Now my question to you is, can you teach me how to balance? You also know how to balance, I know how to balance, but we can't teach it to each other because it's an experience. Okay? So you can't put experiences in words. Even if you put them in words, they will not be that experience because it is individual in nature. Experience is individual in nature, right? Now what happened is that you were excited about this new skill that you have learned of cycling. Every day you took the cycle and you practice. Remember those practicing days, how conscious you were, how tight your body was, not looking here, there, looking straight, not bothered of anything else, no distractions whatsoever. Okay, those tight, that's the sign of now you're conscious about that competency. And you kept on practicing, slowly and steadily. This competency went into your unconscious. Now you have become an expert cyclist. You do wheelies, you do so many things, acrobatic stuff with your cycle, right? You don't have to now think about how to ride a cycle. Now my question is that there are some of you, when did you last cycle? Some of you maybe 10-15 years. I don't know when I touched the cycle last, so many years back. But if I take you down and give you a cycle to ride, will you be able to ride it? Yes, absolutely yes. The reason is that that skill has gone to your cellular level. And what you learn in a fraction of a second retains with you for life. I'm inviting you that this can be used to improve your skills for everything, whether it is a learning lesson from a book. Experience the book rather than just understanding the book. If you go for a training session, experience delegation, experience what is customer satisfaction, customer's delight. These are just words, but words can be experienced. It's a whole different ball game. Okay, I want to give you a sense of it through another example of mine. So you're clear about these 4 stages. What I have given you now in this example is, one side there is understanding, the linear way of learning, and the other side is experiencing something and learning. The 2 different ways of learning, right? There is another model which I have learned thanks to my landmark days. This model I use many times in my life. Okay, so let this circle represent the entire knowledge that is available in the universe. So a huge chunk of knowledge. This circle represents the entire knowledge that is there in the universe. Now there is knowledge that you know that you know. That means I know that I know. What can that knowledge be? What kind of knowledge will that be? To give you an example, I am a chemical engineer, so I know chemical engineering. I am a chemistry graduate, so I know chemistry. I know the languages Hindi, Marathi, English, Gujarati. Then I know how to handle people because that's my profession. So many things that I know that I know. This is the knowledge that I know that I know. What percentage, if I have to ask you this question, what percentage of this entire circle is this knowledge I know? Now I have asked this question to many people. Some people say 0.5%, 0.1%. I am saying let's be generous. Let's say 1% of this entire knowledge belongs to this category, I know. Okay, let's be generous with ourselves. Let's not get connected with the numbers. Numbers are not, it's just an indicative thing. Now, there is knowledge that I know that I don't know. What kind of knowledge is that? I know that I don't know. Is knowledge of maybe spacecraft technology, brain surgery, I don't know coding, I don't know so many other things. I don't know French language, German language, Spanish, I don't know politics, so many things I'm not. So this is another chunk of knowledge If I ask you the same question again, what percentage of the circle belongs to this I know that I don't know? Someone might say 99%, but sorry, that's not true. Okay, so let's consider this as 19%, so this 20% pi and the rest is 80% pi. The rest of the 80%, I don't even know that I don't know. Now what am I trying to say? I said, don't understand this. This is a model to show you something. So this if you really notice that we are stuck up in this 20% pi. In fact, we want to increase this I know part so much that everything that I don't know, I want to learn, and I want to make this I know pi grow, which is understanding. Whereas I don't know, this 80% pi is the experience. From my intellect comes understanding. From my experience comes wisdom. I'm going to make a statement here that all intelligent people are not wise people, but all wise people are intelligent people. I want you to choose whether you want to be intelligent in life and get stuck up in this 20% pi in life, or you want to move into this domain of possibility, the freedom of being wise, because that's the domain of possibility. In the 20% pi, there is no possibility. It is fixed. That's why we are stuck up in this 20%. I'm sure you're getting a sense of what I'm talking. But this 80% is the domain of possibility. Okay. Now, this is a model. How do I use it? So let me give you a story. There were these two people. One was an highly intelligent people, 7-8 degrees on his card. So super knowledge, super intelligent person. And the other person was quite fair, street smart, not so educated, but a wise person. So they both of them, they were sitting next to each other in a flight. It was a very long flight. Both of them were really tired, but you know, this intelligent man had a very nasty habit. He wanted to show off his intelligence everywhere. Wherever he went, he wanted to show off to people how intelligent he was. So here also he started this. Now this poor man, the wise man, was a little tired. He wanted to go to sleep, but this guy did not allow him to sleep. So he says, let's play a game. He says, no, yeah, let me go to sleep. This is a long flight. I'm tired. He says, no, let's play a game. If I ask you a question and you can't answer, said the intelligent man, then if you can't answer my question, I will pay you $5. Now you ask me a question, he said to the wise man, if you ask me a question, if I can't answer, I will pay you $100. Now this $100 became very exciting for this wise man. So he says, okay, let's play. So obviously the intelligent man wants to go first. He wants to prove, right? So he says, okay, tell me what is the capital of Papua New Guinea. The wise man says, okay. He tries to think for some time. He puts his hand in his pocket and he gives him $5 and goes off to sleep. But now this intelligent man, he says, no, now it is your time to ask the question. Come on, don't go to sleep. Ask me a question. I would like to answer your question. So this wise man says, what goes up in 3 legs and comes down with 4? And he goes off to sleep. Now this intelligent man doesn't know the answer. He picks up his laptop, he searches the internet, he calls up a few people, and after about 1 hour, after a desperate search for everything he tries, he can't get an answer for that. Now he, slowly he nudges that guy and he puts his hand in his pocket and he says, here is your $100. So this wise man, he takes the $100 and puts it in his pocket and he tries to go off with him. He says, no, you have to tell me the answer. Guys, what do you think this wise man did? He put his hand in his pocket. Here are $5 and he went off to sleep. Yes. Now, what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is that this I don't know domain is a location to operate from. Now, what's the importance of being in this? See, if you look at children primarily operate from this. Very small child, they are extremely creative, they are open, for them the world is a possibility, not for an adult. Adult has to struggle to go into this domain and operate from. But what happens when you operate from there? What happens is primarily your ego goes for a toss because it's in the moment. everything is possible for you. You become so open that you can absorb more and more knowledge. In fact, the nectar of knowledge comes from this domain of possibility, and that's what I am inviting you to look at. When you read a book, and you read a book, let's say on time management, and you learn something urgent, important matrix, I can just understand that matrix and it will not make a difference. But if you really experience that matrix in your life, time is equal to money. We have learned that so many people understand this, but how many people really live? Because experiencing is about living that statement in your life. Okay, so it's a location to operate from. Okay, so I am a Vipassana meditator, and in Vipassana, the Vipassana basically is, there are three pillars of Vipassana: the Shil, Samadhi and Panya. Shil are the rules, Samadhi is the concentration, and Panya is the wisdom. Now Buddha described wisdom in three parts. What he said, that Sutumaya Panya is the wisdom that I get from others by reading a book, going for a training seminar, going in conferences, and so many places when I listen to somebody, some expert talking. So that's the wisdom that I get from others. That is the Sutumaya Panya. Then it's the Chintamaya Panya. Sorry, there is a spelling mistake. It's not China. It is Chintamaya Panya. It is the intellect. When I get some information, some knowledge from others, my intelligence starts interacting with that, and from that arises a different wisdom, which he calls Chintamaya Panya. And that's why in Hindi and Sanskrit there is a word Chintan Manan, when the internal churning of these two. Now these two are important, but not enough for realization. That's what he said. He says the third level is the Bhavanamaya Panya, which comes from your direct experience. So that is what really transforms you in life, right? Now this really gives you the nectar of knowledge. So let us look at what I am trying to say in this video. See, understanding is not bad. It is required. It is required, especially when you are going and doing some analysis part. Understanding is very much required. So I am not asking you to discard understanding, but I am asking you that use understanding only when it is required. Experiences gives you realization, and it is realization that really transforms you and makes a difference. Cigarette smoking, on the packet, so much of effort for governments and so many people to stop smoking. I have been a smoker, so I know there was a time in my life when I smoked so many cigarettes, and now I don't remember when it was a very powerful experience in one of the training programs, like in one of the training programs that I received, and that realization, I dropped cigarette smoking. From that moment till this date, I think so it is almost 20-25 years back, I got that realization, and I stopped smoking completely. So that's the power of it. What you experience resides in your cellular memory, because what goes into your cellular memory remains with you forever. So there is this, in our mythology, there is this Samudra Manthan story where the Danavas and the gods, they were fighting for something. They took the Meru Parvat and they started churning in. That Parvat is the difficult challenges that we face in our life, and this is an analogy, or this is a metaphor, that there is a constant fight within. I am telling you that your intelligence and your intellect is going to come in between in your experiential learning, if you do take that. But what happens is that when that Samudra Manthan was happening and these people were fighting, the nectar came out from that. Now if you want to experience the nectar of knowledge, my invitation is to start experiencing each and every statement, like time is equal to money. Everyone understands this statement, but how many people really experience it in their lives? It's a whole new way of looking at life completely, and that's what I'm inviting you all to look at, where should I use this? I am a great proponent of experiential learning. My transformation has happened because of experiencing everything in my life and then applying it. There are places I have understood. Obviously understanding, as I said, understanding is required, but my things, there are things which I have been able to learn. I can't put it in words because it's an experience. So I want you to make a choice and see to it that how you can move into that domain of I don't know, which is the location to operate from, and from that you will get this experiential knowledge, which is the nectar of knowledge. Thank you. you.